I'm Sam.
And I'm Greg.
We're human beings. And we like movies.
We'll be doing reviews of brand new releases,
Old classics,
entire sagas,
and even TV shows and video games.
This is Reaction Time. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
How are you
everybody.
doing today?
Hi, and welcome to the first annual Something Awards. Again, maybe a placeholder name.
Yeah.
Might be just the
It
name.
might just be the name.
This is going to be the equivalent of like the Oscars,
Yep.
but it's
Real.
from real people and
facts.
not celebrities or anything. Not that
Yeah.
they're not real people technically, but
This is awards that are from two people that love to watch movies and are not legally bound to say their favorite movie because of money reasons.
and are very unlikely to get canceled because of our audience size.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, I guess we'll find
You
out.
never know. So to start,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about TV shows.
Yeah.
And the first category we're going to go with is the worst TV show you saw this year. Sam, what was the worst TV show you saw this year?
The absolute worst TV show I saw this year, just by a hair, was She-Hulk.
I never saw it.
Yo, that show, that was maybe the worst piece of visual content I've ever watched, and that's not an exaggeration.
Really?
It was cringy. The CGI was bad. The story was bad. The humor was non-existent, and it was so woke that it was unbearable. And that's all the good things I have to say about it.
Wow.
So
There was a lot. So you might give it a 10 out of 1,000.
That feels high. It was that bad.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding you. There was one part at the end that was like, for a second, I was like, oh, it's a cool concept, but then it ended up being crap.
And I think I talked to you about it. I've actually seen the show, but I watched like a thing on the show and they talked about the very end and how like it was kind of cool, but some people kind of hated it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that you said was kind of a cool
It was
concept.
okay. My second place for worst, though, we're not doing second place for everything, but this is an honorable mention for worst, is Andor. And y'all can at me or whatever. Andor was a bad show. I don't care what you say. It wasn't Star Wars, and it was the most boring thing I've ever watched in my entire life. And you can't say the writing is so good when an entire episode was only walking. That's what I have to say about that. And if anybody wants to talk about it, you can feel free to call me. My number is, I'm just kidding. But honestly,
1, 2,
Andor
3.
was so bad. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
Do you have a worst or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I started watching Obi-Wan and never finished
No,
it.
Obi-Wan was bad too. It wasn't
So-
quite as bad. It was pretty, I would call it mid. That's what the kids are calling it now.
Mid.
It was mid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't delicious or anything.
Yeah. No.
So
So that's
no.
okay. Okay.
I don't think I have any worse.
That's fine.
I watched like 1 or 2 TV shows and it was Gilmore Girls and Better Call Saul. So
That makes sense.
speaking
And
of
they're both
Better
good.
Call Saul.
Speaking of Better Call Saul, we're going to move on to the best category for TV shows. We're only doing two categories for TV shows because, there's just less.
We're new.
We'll have a lot of, movie categories next, but we're going to talk about the best TV show that you watched this year. Craig?
Okay. So
What was
out
it?
of Gilmore Girls and Better Call Saul, just barely. No, just kidding. So
Just
Better
by a
Call
hair.
Saul, easily my favorite TV show this year. And so a lot of people like to, is as good as Breaking Bad, all that other kind of stuff. It's much different from Breaking Bad. So it's has some similarities, but the reason it was just a fantastic season. They ended it perfectly. But one point that I wanted to make is there is one scene in season 6, and no spoilers, obviously, because it's pretty new, but where an actor is on a bus, and that's not even a spoiler because there's a couple scenes with actors on
Okay.
a bus, so they won't know which one I'm talking about. But where an actor is on a bus, and this character in the whole show had not really shown a lot of emotion. They'd kind of held a lot of stuff in. You'd see things like here and there, but they have like a physical breakdown. And I would say probably some of the greatest acting I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And it was like a minute and a half. I mean,
That's cool.
minute and a half, and it was them crying, but it was like the most real, like crying I think I've ever seen, because it wasn't just like really good because they were crying. It was, they displayed what somebody would do that doesn't show emotions and then has this like breakdown and just physically, like it's a public bus too, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even show their emotions and they're on this public bus and just start breaking down. And even the like extras, like one person just kind of reaches out and puts their hand on them. It was just incredible.
That's
it
cool.
was so good.
That's really cool.
And the fact that they didn't win a nomination is exactly why we were doing these awards, because Better Call Saul wasn't as popular as Breaking Bad, so you never heard about it, which is why it
was this the last season of Better Call Saul?
This is the last
And they
season.
wrapped it up
beautifully. Beautifully.
Good. I have not seen any of it. Well, I've seen
You've seen the first
season.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to make him watch the rest.
I know. I need to watch the rest.
For those that may or may not have seen it and are thinking of watching it, the first season is definitely slow, but each season just gets better and better.
That's cool.
It's definitely worth.
I will definitely watch it.
Yeah. So did you have a best?
I did have a best.
Okay.
I was about to say I didn't like almost any of the TV shows that I watched, but that's just Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Almost everything I saw from Marvel and Star Wars this year was not good, but almost everything I watched besides that was pretty good.
Okay.
Some quick honorable mentions. I watched all of You, and I thought it was really fun. You was really good. Dead to Me, very good.
Okay.
We're almost done with the third season, so I'm not positive yet. But my show of the year was Stranger Things season 4.
Oh my gosh, I kind of forgot that came out this year. That was really good.
It was so good.
It was a little slow at the beginning for me.
A little bit. There's one thing that I want to talk about right now. It's slightly spoilery. It's just one little scene. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story, so it's just a cool thing that happened. So if you are worried, skip like 30 seconds from now. When she pulls the helicopter down, do you remember that? That is, for me, like one of the most iconic like visual things from just cinema. The fact that it's like not in a movie, I think will make it less like memorable.
Right.
But just, I remember when that happened, I was like, that's going to like go down in history. It's just like this really awesome thing that just like happened in a movie.
Yeah.
Thought it was awesome. I think Stranger Things season 4 was so good. I'm so excited.
Visuals were incredible.
Visuals were amazing. Just
they put the money into it.
It really gets better and better. And the first season was great. And I
still think the first season's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
I really loved the third season. It was intense.
So
that might be my favorite.
The only thing that I had with this season and the third season is, and this is just kind of like me, I guess, but I'm so intrigued by the world, but the more like the dark side of the world.
Oh, yeah.
And so like the beginning of season 3 and the beginning of season 4, where it's a lot of like, it's kind of character development, but it's stuff I don't really care about.
Yeah.
Like 11, well, I guess I don't really want to get into any like spoilers or anything, but just like a lot of her side stories, I don't really care about. And I hate when they're all separated.
I know. Because a lot of shows do that. They like separate everybody for like the whole show and then bring it back.
Sucks.
It is kind of sucky.
That's why like the first season was great, because they're all like figuring this stuff out together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the last season, supposedly.
Yeah.
Until they make some spinoff, or Netflix needs money, so they make a 6th season. But I love season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
So good. So those are our TV show awards.
Yeah.
For this year.
Now on to the movie awards.
Yeah, the big dogs.
The big dogs. Yes.
I watched a lot of movies this year.
I didn't.
Craig didn't watch a ton.
No.
He's got kids, little kids, so harder to get out,
Just a little bit
of the house. But I watched a buttload of movies. I think I watched all of the, the big blockbusters this year. I think I saw every single one of them. I saw some other little ones in theaters and watched some others that when they came out on streaming and stuff. So I've got a pretty good bank of movies sitting with me. So we are going to go through a few different categories, and we're going to end with the movie of the year for each of us.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
Craig, what was your... this is going to be the only movie we talk about that did not come out this year. It's just the favorite movie that we watched this year, no matter when it came out, but saw, I think, for the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So what was your favorite movie you saw this year?
My favorite movie I saw this year was Nobody. It came out last year. It's Saul Goodman, Bob Odenkirk, and basically like a John Wick movie, and it was fantastic.
That's not based on Better Call Saul, is it?
No,
it's just a completely different thing. Okay. Okay.
I mean, it would be pretty awesome if it
Yeah.
was.
And so what type of movie was that? I don't even really know anything about that movie. Was
So
it
it's
action?
it's like an action. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like John Wick, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's basically the summary of the story is this guy who's pretty much he's a nobody, but he is like this super crazy trained awesome guy. And so it was just this super action packed, more of that like real looking violence where it doesn't shun away from stuff, kind of like John Wick does. But Bob Odenkirk did a whole lot to like prepare for the movie. He took a lot of like, physical training
That's
classes.
so cool because I would never picture him in a role like that.
I know, neither did I.
That's really cool. I'll have to watch it.
But it's fantastic.
That's really cool.
Definitely my favorite movie I watched
Okay.
this year.
Favorite movie.
You.
My favorite movie I watched this year was Free Guy. Dude,
That was good. I watched that this year too. That was
Oh
fantastic.
my goodness. That was so this is word for word what happened. We watched the movie. I was watching it with my wife and I believe with some friends, or maybe it was just us. No, maybe it was just us. The movie ended, and the second the credits hit, I looked over at my wife and I said, "That's one of my favorite movies of all time."
Really?
Yes, it is in my top 5.
Okay.
I think it's a perfect movie. Why?
Okay.
And this is going to come up in a movie later.
Okay.
The reason why I think it is a perfect movie
'cause
is
that's
because
Ryan
they
Reynolds.
because Ryan Reynolds is the best person on earth. Because this is what I think makes a movie really like stand out from other movies when they tackle several genres perfectly.
Okay. Yeah,
'Cause
no, they did.
They did action wonderfully.
Yeah.
The motorcycle stuff and the action and just like
Some of
all
the
that
end stuff was
perfect.
so good.
They did the comedy perfectly.
Yeah.
And the love story is one of the coolest, twistiest of all time. Kind of.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
Twilight. It's awesome. But that's why I think that's for me personally, that's when a movie goes above and beyond
Okay.
and becomes like an ultra good movie for me.
It was fantastic.
When you
I
can
loved
do
it.
3 or more genres, I think like phenomenally, you're up there. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
definitely one of my top 5, maybe top 3 movies of all time.
Wow. Top 3?
Maybe.
Holy crap.
We'll have to do a little
Okay.
portion of some time when we talk about our top,
Top movies.
Maybe a
Oh,
little bonus
I don't even
episode.
know how I could like do that.
It's hard. But yeah, definitely Free Guy for me.
Transformers 5.
Yeah.
Totally kidding. Movie sucked. Transformers 5. Not even the first one, which is the best
dude,
one. It's
oh,
like
it
number
is.
5.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get into movies that came out this year.
Yes. Starting with the first one being
Yeah.
the most underrated movie. What is the most underrated movie that you watched? And that could be box office, it didn't do well. It could be just people never really heard about it. Or it could be maybe a movie that a lot of people enjoyed, but just not many people saw it or got overshadowed by stuff.
Okay, for me, the most underrated movie, this is mostly box office, but it's a little bit of just like people not talking about it. The most underrated movie for me this year was Don't Worry, Darling.
Okay. I heard of it, but I never watched it.
I went into it knowing zero about it, except for there was a little beef between like a couple people in a couple actors. That was all I knew about the movie.
Okay.
Right? Didn't know the genre. The only thing I knew were 3 of the actors who were in the movie, and that was it. And so I went into it blind, which I love going into movies blind, and it shocked me, and I loved it.
Okay.
It made $86 million,
Which is not much.
is low.
Yeah.
Like stupid low.
Yeah.
And I
What's it
just didn't
about?
hear a ton of people. I don't even want to say because
Okay.
it's way more fun to go. Like I can't say anything.
Okay.
It's
I have a movie like that too.
it's semi like in some ways it's Nolan-esque.
Okay.
That's why I can't say anything.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
twist. There's a twist.
Okay.
That's all I want
yeah,
to say,
yeah, I mean,
and I hardly even wanted to
was
say
just-
that.
yeah, it's fine.
But so that's for me the most underrated movie because I really like that movie a lot.
Okay.
What was your most underrated movie?
So this is a movie that me and my wife watched on Netflix, I think, and it has an actor that is somewhat controversial, I guess. Some people love her or some people really hate her. It was called The Starling, and it was Melissa McCarthy. So I absolutely love Melissa McCarthy.
Do you really?
100%.
That's so funny. I hate her.
So there's a couple movies that I need you to watch.
Okay.
And it might change your idea of her. But I understand why people don't like her, right? She kind of plays the same thing. She just makes fun of herself. A lot of people don't really, they think she's funny and then she's not funny anymore. This was not a funny movie. It was more of a serious, real, like, kind of emotional one. Did not get super good ratings, but me and my wife watched it, and for us, it hit. It hit hard, and it was a really cool movie that I never even heard of.
Interesting.
But probably did super poor.
I'm not even finding it.
Yeah, I don't even know. It might not even released in theaters. It might have just like straight released.
It was Netflix. It's a Netflix movie.
I don't know. I don't know if I had like an.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Starling?
Yeah.
Technically came out last year.
Yeah, I know.
But that's
like the tail end of last year.
I'll forgive you.
So, and I saw this year because it was.
Yeah, I'm like
on
not
Netflix.
even seeing. I guess you can't have a box office if it just goes straight to streaming.
But it was really good.
Okay. What's the genre of this movie? Because I literally haven't even heard of it.
So the genre, it would be like a drama.
It's a drama. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to like. Drama sometimes makes it sound like not good. But this is like a drama that actually works.
Yeah.
Where they did it well. But yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, our next category is the most overrated movie of this year, which I had some struggles picking one.
I didn't.
But yeah, what, Craig, is your most overrated movie for this year?
Without a doubt, not even having to think about it, The Barbarian is my most overrated movie.
Craig loves to hate this movie, you guys.
I love to hate
I've never
this
seen
movie.
it.
Okay, so it's supposed to be a horror movie. I will give it the first like 40 minutes, not like terrifying, but they were kind of creepy. Like you kind of didn't really understand what was going on, you know, and like what was going to happen. But then when they showed the thing, the person, creature, I'm not going to say anything because if you haven't seen it, but the thing that was supposed to be the scary thing just destroyed this movie for me.
That's a bummer.
And I know a lot of people love it.
Yeah.
And I know, and I know like why the thing is the thing that it is, and all the like the hidden, you know, stuff like that. I'm sorry, I don't care. It was just ruined. It wasn't scary. It ruined it, and the trailer and everything was so good, and I was so excited to see it. And it's like, I think it's like 94, 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Like, and horror movies never get that high, right?
Wow.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so good. And then it just sucked.
Dang.
So,
that's a bummer.
It's a bummer. It's all right. I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but it's kind of been happening with a lot of horror movies lately, where they're just the thing that's supposed to be scary is not good. I know.
Yeah,
I'm going to introduce you into so many good scary movies.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of excited. I don't like scary movies at all.
No.
But I get forced to watch at least one by my wife every year because I gave her, I gave her one.
She's going to love me because I'm going to make you watch more.
Yeah, she'll really appreciate that. Y'all suck.
So what was your most overrated?
Okay, I have two. I have one based on hype and one based off of box office.
Okay.
Because I couldn't pick. My box office one, this shocks me so much. It's Jurassic World Dominion. Holy crap, it made $1 billion.
I didn't even see it.
Wow, it wasn't a bad movie. It was the most boring dinosaur movie ever made.
How do you do that?
It was strange because like
they brought all the original people back, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think you'd be able to make it
with
good?
a Jurassic Park movie, it's easy to make a good one, right?
Yeah.
You tell the same story every time, and a bunch of people get eaten by dinosaurs, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Nobody got eaten by a freaking dinosaur this whole movie.
What?
That's not true, but it felt like it.
Basically.
It really, really felt like it. By the end, I was like, oh, the movie just ended. Like, it just like a movie's supposed to build and then climax and then resolve, right?
Yeah.
It just built and then ended. I'm not even kidding. Like the
What?
climax like was almost non-existent. So I was like, how did it make $1 billion? But I think it's because it's the last one, supposedly.
And I think $1 billion's actually probably pretty low for Jurassic
Yeah,
World.
for a Jurassic
did
World or park movie.
so good.
Yeah, it is.
And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom
Yeah,
was not good.
it was better than this movie.
Wow, that's
Way
bad.
better.
That's bad because that really was not a good
Yeah,
movie.
it was fine. It was pretty mid for me, mid-range.
Okay, question
movie.
without spoiling anything. Did any of the dinosaurs go, Alan?
Oh, I wish.
Okay,
dude.
that would have made it
They just
better.
pop out, Alan. But yeah, so that was like, because it's the 51st highest grossing movie of all time. Think about how many movies. There are like
There's a
8
ton
billion
of
movies
movies.
that exist. It just wasn't very good. And then
Give or take $1 billion.
my hype-ish, I mean, this is a little wishy-washy, but Knives Out, Glass Onion,
Oh,
I didn't like that
you
movie.
didn't like it?
Not really, no.
Okay.
It was fun-ish to watch, but by the time it ended, like,
the first one
I
was
like
great.
those movies. Yeah, the first one was awesome. I like those movies because I'm bad at guessing who it is.
Yeah,
And I'm always shocked at the end.
yeah.
This, they introduced everyone and I was like, it's that guy. He has every motive. He has every reason. And then by the end, it was like, yep.
It's
and so
that
it was
guy.
like, it wasn't a mystery, right? It was
No.
just telling the story of what happened.
Yeah.
And it was kind of boring. So it wasn't a bad movie, but I just think it was pretty overrated.
Okay.
So those are my two.
Okay. Our next category is funniest movie. What was your funniest movie released in 2022?
Okay, without a doubt, the funniest movie I saw this year. I laughed so hard. Marcel the Shell with shoes on. Oh my goodness.
That's the name of the movie.
Yeah. Do you know who
Say that
Marcel the
again.
Shell is?
Marcel
Marcel the Shell. Do you know who
With
Marcel the
shoes
Shell is?
on?
Dude,
What
Marcel.
the heck is this?
Oh my gosh, you guys, if you're a Marcel person, then you're gonna be so happy right now, and you're gonna be so like livid with Craig. Okay, so Marcel the Shell with
yeah,
shoes on
I'm sorry, I have
is
no
the
idea what
whole
this is.
title. So what it is do you know who Jenny Slate is? She's Mona Lisa in Parks and Rec. You've seen Parks and Rec?
No.
Wait, what?
Remember I told you I've only seen like the first 5 episodes?
Okay, she's really funny. She's a comedian.
Okay.
Comedic actor, really funny. So it was just originally a YouTube video, and it's just a little stop motion video of this little shell character named Marcel. It's this little dude. He looks like this, so like unbelievably cute, but just has the funniest stuff ever. There were just a bunch of YouTube videos. They were just like funny and like kind of quirky. And they made a movie this year. A24 did it. Who's like
Okay.
my new favorite movie company because they're just slaying it out there.
Slay.
And they're not like super corporate-y, so I just feel like I can rely on them. This movie made me laugh so incredibly hard when I saw it that I just immediately knew like it was like my most
Really?
funniest movie of the year.
I mean, I've never even
I'm going
heard
to show you the
any of
YouTube
this.
video when we're done because
Okay.
it's so fun. It's
Okay.
just like so quotable and
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah. So that was my funniest movie of the year, hands
Okay.
down, which I know it's like, again, I knew it was going to be a movie you had not even heard of.
Oh yeah, no.
But it's so good. So yeah, that's mine. Craig, what was your funniest movie of the year?
So okay, I didn't watch a ton of movies, so I wouldn't say this movie like, oh my gosh, made me laugh a ton, but out of the movies that I saw, it was the funniest for me. It was The Adam Project.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
I really liked it. I kind of forgot about that movie.
see,
I thought it was
so
funny
did I.
too.
Yeah, nothing. There was nothing about it that made it stand out in any way. Mm-hmm. It was just your generic movie, but it was
Yeah.
just a funny movie that I thought was hilarious.
Okay, that's a good choice. I had totally forgotten about that movie.
Yeah.
I actually thought you were going to say a different one, but I'll tell you what it was later.
Okay. All right. So next category.
Your least favorite. So this is not worst. We're going to do favorite and best and least favorite and worst. They're different
They're definitely different.
because I feel like a best movie of the year is it's trying to be slightly unbiased, right? And then a favorite movie is very biased. So that's kind of a little bit the difference,
Okay.
right? So this is your least favorite movie of the year. You watched it and you just hated it.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Namen, sir.
Not even. There's just nothing else that comes.
Tell me your thoughts about it.
Okay. Well, I kind of brought this up in the Avatars podcast, but it's called the Multiverse of Madness, and you see like two different universes, and the one is just basically our world with pizza balls instead of pizza.
Yeah.
And like the lights are different, like I think you.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Like red is go and green is stop or something like that. Like it was almost
very slight.
no difference. And
This is a minor spoiler warning. If you do not want to know some of the characters that show up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, please skip forward 10 seconds.
it was great to have John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I guess that might be a spoiler.
We'll throw in a small spoiler warning right before it. It's okay.
But I guess I can't really get into spoilers. I don't know. It's just they ruined a lot of the characters in that movie for me. And just there were so many things that I was excited to see. I was excited to see Sam Raimi back doing a superhero movie because honestly, the first two Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire are probably like two of my all-time top favorite superhero movies. And he did a fantastic job. The third one wasn't great, but that wasn't all his fault. So where I heard that Disney was kind of giving him more of the freedom with the movie, I was really excited. But
I think it was a little. I think they gave him too much freedom, just a little bit.
It just wasn't. It wasn't scary like they were kind of trying to say it was going to be.
Yeah,
and you go through this entire thing with one character, like an entire TV show of their progression, and then it just all goes away in this movie. It just like changes everything, and it's like, so what was the point of that TV show? First off, that was way better than the movie, and I don't even know. Doctor Strange, like he was not even like that strong of a superhero in this movie either. Like they just. I pretty much hated it in almost every way.
I think as a superhero, Doctor Strange has my least favorite movies. I don't really like the first one. And the second one, the first one was fine, but I did not like that. It was like, I'm a doctor. My hands are broken. It's been 5 minutes and I know magic.
Yeah, I guess
I hate that about that movie. It moved way too quickly, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Then the new Doctor Strange was so... Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't really have that much to say about it. It was kind of discombobulated and a little...
And the music battle.
I hated that. I hated that so much.
Bad. Anyways. Okay. What was your least favorite movie?
I think my least favorite movie this year was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
You didn't see it, did you?
No, I didn't. But I saw the CGI.
Man, it didn't ruin characters. It just underutilized all of them.
Yeah.
Every single character in that movie got underutilized.
Yeah.
Which is shocking because they really only focused on like 3 people.
Yeah.
But they just did a bad job.
I didn't see it, but I know everything that happens.
Coming from Ragnarok, which was the best Thor movie, I really thought it was, because it was same director, everything. I really thought that it was just going to be kind of part 2 of that. And I think the director, Taika Waititi, I think he
didn't do Ragnarok, did he?
Yeah, he did Ragnarok.
Oh,
that's why it's so different from the first 2.
Movie.
I know, right?
He's not.
Well, he's got a few really good ones, but they're more indie.
Yeah.
But so I just thought it was going to be the same because like Ragnarok tackled humor really well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And just everything else was great. It looked
hilarious.
cool. It was like so fun and everything. And this new one was, he tried to do the same stuff with like the fun quirkiness stuff, but just missed all of it.
Well, and then it was like, I heard it was just always trying to have a joke about something. It was just like, okay, this is...
And the villain was the most underutilized villain ever.
And it was Christian Bale.
I know.
And I was so excited.
They cut
Marvel
away.
Sucks at villains.
He's Gore the God Butcher, and they didn't show him kill any gods.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's just like, man, that would be the most fun part of the movie.
Right.
Just to almost have him be the focal point of it.
Yeah.
And have him go around trying to, kill all these gods and stuff, and then have like a final conflict or something. They just didn't.
Yeah.
And it was really...
I think Marvel has only succeeded in like 3 villains, though. Thanos was great.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of build-up, so he kind of had to be great. Is it Warmonger in the first Black Panther?
Yeah, Warmonger's good.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. He
was Warmonger or Killmonger?
Killmonger?
Kid's Killmonger.
I think it's Killmonger.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
Warmonger's somebody else, I think. But yeah, Killmonger's great.
And then I have a different opinion about a lot of people, but the Civil War villain.
Oh, so good.
He was so good because he actually succeeded in his plan.
That was a great...
To separate Captain America and Iron Man.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I think he's a better villain than Thanos.
Yeah.
He did less, kind of.
Yeah.
And
but
Thanos is more like classic villain stuff.
Actually set out to do.
That was such a well-written villain.
I loved him.
Civil War is one of my favorite Marvel movies, for sure. Okay,
Okay. All right.
Let's go to the favorite movie
Of the year.
of the year.
Okay. So my favorite movie of the year was The Lost City.
Oh,
Was-
okay. See, I thought you were going to talk about that for your funniest.
No,
That's
and
why I was-
that's why I kind of
what I
had
was
him
gonna
flip,
bring
'cause
up.
Adam Project definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring Lost City as funniest.
Okay.
But then I was gonna have two
Lost
movies.
City was your favorite movie?
Yeah, it was so fun.
Dude, Lost City was so
Sandra
good.
Bullock and Channing Tatum
It was shockingly good. Like, I thought it'd
It
be
was
funny.
shockingly
but it
good.
was shockingly funny.
and
It was
Daniel
like-
Radcliffe was
Of course.
just great.
That was a really good movie. It
was a really good movie.
And
That's why I say favorite, because it was probably the most fun I had.
yeah,
in
and
the
that
movie.
was, this is in my honorable mentions list, but I thought I was going to throw that in for underrated because, like, I don't know how that movie performed, but I don't hear people talk about it very much.
No, not a ton.
And it was really good.
And I was gonna put in underrated also.
Yeah, I don't even know how much it made.
Probably. Oh, there it is. It was like 14.
Oh, that's not bad.
Maybe not. Never
It
mind.
did. Oh, it's not even there.
No, where was it?
Oh, Lost City, 190 million, which
yeah. That's enough.
is, I guess, respectable.
Yeah, it's not bad for a movie that not a lot of people knew.
Yeah.
But for Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum, I don't know. I love Channing Tatum.
I love him
He's
too.
So stupid, but I
Yeah.
think he's hilarious.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Okay, so what was your favorite movie?
My favorite movie this year was Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
I saw that in theaters 3 times. Every time it was the exact same amount of fun or more.
Okay.
Which is shocking because
Yeah.
usually you see a movie, you know what happens. So the next time you have fun, but you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Top Gun, somehow, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
I know.
it's one of those movies where even when you know what's going to happen, the first time I watched it, after a certain scene happened, I realized that I needed to unclench my
Yeah.
whole body.
That's
It
actually
was
awesome.
it was crazy, and then it happened every single time I watched the movie.
Seriously?
Yeah, every time certain things happen, you like tense up completely, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so exciting!" It feels like a roller coaster. They did everything so well, and a lot of people say this, but they really just stepped away from what Hollywood is becoming.
Uh-huh.
They stepped away from political issues
Oh, yeah.
and wokeness and just like all sorts of stuff, and they just made a fun movie.
And it's the #1 grossing movie this year.
Yeah, it was so good. It made what, $1.4 billion?
Hollywood, take the hint.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it was.
If you want to have a movie to be woke or whatever, or PC, or
It'll turn
that's-
out like Strange World.
yeah, that's great.
Making
But
$15.
don't shove it down people's throats.
Yeah, it was just so fun. I
That
don't
was like Mission Impossible 6 for me, where
Yeah.
you could just rewatch it and it was that same feeling
and
every time.
I don't like the first Top Gun movie. I watched it
that's
in
right.
preparation, and I just don't think it's good. I have a lot to say about it, but I won't say anything. I just think it was a really boring movie. I think they did a lot of things poorly, even though people think it's great. I understand that it's a classic, but I
And
don't like
the
it.
volleyball scene.
They fixed the volleyball scene. They fixed everything in this movie. The
That's
storyline was great. The love story was like good enough.
Okay.
And it was there and it added a little bit to the story, but it wasn't too much of a focus. It wasn't bad or cheesy or anything. And just the action was so good. I think the fact that like pretty much everybody who was in a jet did like jet training, did
Yeah,
G-force
yeah,
training.
yeah.
Tom Cruise obviously is like maybe
Did
the
all the
last
stuff.
actual movie star on earth.
Oh, dude. He's
Just
insane.
all of the realness of the movie was great. There's
Did he
just,
run
like-
in it?
Did he run?
He has to. He runs in every movie.
He does run in every movie.
If he
I don't
doesn't, I'm
know.
not gonna watch it.
I'm more than willing to watch it again and let you know. So yeah, that was my most favorite movie. I just had fun every single time I watched it, and thinking about it is like such a happy memory from the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay.
My favorite movie.
So, what would be your worst movie of 2022?
Okay, I've got 2.
Okay.
We already talked about
I do
Doctor
also.
Strange. So I guess I don't really need to talk about that
Okay.
much. But I think that movie was so bad. I had that down as my worst movie, but then I thought of another movie that I went to see. It was so bad that I forgot that I saw it.
Well, that would make it bad.
This movie was called, I don't even know what the subtitle of this movie is, and I don't freaking care. It was the third Fantastic Beast movie. I don't know if it was like, was the Dumbledore one?
Yeah.
Or was that
the
the-
Secrets of Dumbledore.
That movie was worse than Doctor Strange. And
I could see that, actually.
every Fantastic Beast movie got increasingly worse.
Oh yeah. The first one was good.
It was
Second-
fine. I wouldn't even call it
okay.
good.
I liked it. I liked
Okay.
the first movie.
I wouldn't
But the
call it,
second
yeah.
one, me
Bad.
and my wife like almost didn't finish it. It was so boring.
Yeah. I went and saw it in theaters, the third one, just because I think my friends were going to see, we go to see movies a lot. And so we were like, that's the one that was basically out that week.
Yeah.
So we went and saw it. Oh, I hate that movie.
How do you have Jude Law as Dumbledore and make a bad movie?
Right?
Like, seriously.
The lack of like magic in these movies is shocking.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like your thing with Star Wars.
and I don't like Eddie Redmayne's character at all. I like
No.
Eddie Redmayne. I hate his character.
Yeah.
Can we just get rid of that?
Yeah.
I just think they need to do something more in like the Potter verse and try to make it feel a little bit more like Harry Potter.
It's just a money grab at this point.
For
it's
sure.
not like a care anymore because this is literally based off of a book that just talks about beasts. There's not even it's not like there's a storyline to it. It's literally a school book that they use to study beasts.
Yeah.
And they tried to make a movie off of it so that they could make a bunch of money.
It would be way more fun for them to make a sequel saga to Harry Potter.
Yeah, just different people, but in the same universe.
And bring some of the OGs back, you know.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Sometimes movies do that. Like Star Wars did it poorly where they bring back the original people.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like they did like Luke Skywalker really dirty and stuff. Here I am talking about Star Wars again. But I didn't talk about Star Wars last week in the Grinch episode.
No,
so
you didn't. Wait, did you?
I guess I don't remember. I don't think I did.
If you didn't,
though.
I'll be a little upset.
I
You
know.
gotta talk about it in every episode.
But like some, movies come back later and they bring back old characters. I think they could do that with Harry Potter and bring some people back.
Yeah.
And just don't do them dirty.
No.
And do something fun with Hogwarts and all that kind of stuff. So I just think the Fantastic Beasts movies all suck. But
I think they're so afraid to try something new and different that they just hold on to because it's even like the three new Star Wars where they were trying to hold on to so many things that they didn't just create. They can still do the Skywalker stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also don't really need to.
Yeah.
You can kind of just create something else, but in that same universe. It's like they're afraid that if it shuns away at all, that people are like, oh, I'm not going to watch this anymore.
Right.
But majority of people don't want another sequel or something like, even with Harry Potter. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to like see him come back, but I don't need a movie with all of them back. We had 8 movies with them.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to go back into that universe and maybe have like a new original story that is just fun. But they're like, has to tie to everything.
That's, I think, what the issue is a lot of times when they do bring old characters back is I think like people who create these movies completely miss the reason why people liked those characters. And I mean, just corporate Hollywood's really bad about knowing like why fans like certain things.
Yeah.
And they always think it's something else than what it really is. And they try to capitalize on that thing that nobody cares too much about.
Yeah.
And so, that's just like, I don't know. That's, I think, what they do with movies like that. So it's kind of a bummer to watch, sequels go up in flames like that. But, okay, what was your worst movie of the year?
Okay, so I have 2.
Okay.
The first one being Uncharted.
Bad.
So bad. Okay, here's the thing. Me and my wife so my wife likes watching me play video games.
Okay.
And especially like those kind of more like story ones. So we played Uncharted 4, which is the newest one, together, and she loved it, And so we were both like super stoked to go and see it. I also really love Tom Holland. I think he's great. I actually really like Mark Wahlberg
I do too. Yeah.
Not quite the correct person, I think, for the character he was playing. But the problem is you show this cool trailer, and then that was the entire movie.
It was.
And
everything that
else
happened was in the trailer.
It was just boring.
Yeah.
And it just, I love Tom Holland, but I don't think he fit the profile correctly. And also with Mark Wahlberg, he just didn't quite fit the character. And so instead of like, kind of like you said, where they're trying to hold true to the characters, they were going for the big names.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it didn't work. And then it was super boring. And then there was like a couple really like cool scenes, but it was nothing like new. It was nothing that was like,
wasn't a lot of substance.
That stands out.
Yeah.
We've seen this with freaking Pirates of the Caribbean or Tomb Raider or anything like that.
Yeah.
And And then my second worst movie was Old. With M. Night
I wanted to see it so bad because
Shyamalan, whatever his name
Shyamalan
is.
Ding Dong. When I saw the trailer for that, I was like, "This sounds like such a cool
Me too.
concept."
Me too.
I really wanted to watch it, and I never got around to it.
Do you know what happens in all of his movies? The trailers seem like these really cool concepts, and then you watch the movie. The Happening. I was super stoked for that movie.
I don't even know
Probably
what that
one
is.
of the worst movies ever made.
Bummer.
Same thing with this. I almost put it under funniest because it was so bad.
No, that's not
There's
good.
literally a person in that movie called Mid-Size Sedan.
Yeah.
It's so bad. He was supposed to be
Yeah,
a
that's
rapper.
bad.
But it's just horrible. There was one cool scene in the entire show, in the entire movie, and it wasn't even like, oh man, it was that cool. It was so boring. It was so dumb. And the ending was like the twist ending, because it's M. Night Shyamalan and he always has to have this twist ending, right? Was super dumb.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it was really bad.
That stinks.
But I still think I liked it more than Barbarian.
That makes
I
sense.
hated that movie.
So Barbarian's also really your worst.
Barbarian's also really my worst, but it was critically acclaimed, so that's why I put it over underrated because Old was
yeah.
not critically acclaimed.
Yeah. Okay.
So any honorable mentions?
Do we want to do honorable mentions first?
before movie of the
There's
year?
a couple movies I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
First of all, Moonfall.
Never saw it.
That was, I think, like the first movie that came out this year.
Product placement movie.
What?
I heard it was just a bunch of different product placement stuff.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Oh yeah, that's what I heard. Like there was something crazy happening, and then there was like this really nice car that was driving through it or whatever.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Dude, okay, Moonfall, I don't know how I feel about it because it was so bad, but it was almost Sharknado bad where it's so fun to watch because it's that bad.
But was it quite good enough?
I don't know because like
Really?
looking back on it, it's hard because it's like part of me is like, is it just a happy memory of like, man, because we watched it for a work party. And so like there was a bunch of people there and it was just funny to watch. The last line, this might be not exactly word for word, but the last line of the movie is like, your grandma's part of the moon now, which is
No way.
yeah, which is one of the most
What?
incredible like closing lines of all time. It
Grandma's part of the
did
movie.
really good at here's the plot.
There is none.
No, there is.
Okay.
The moon is getting way closer to Earth.
Right.
And so it starts
It's
ripping
falling
the
to
Earth
Earth.
starts to gravitate towards the moon a little
Right.
bit, which I don't know science, but that sounds wrong.
Yeah.
But
Our boss would say it's the dumbest thing ever.
okay, 30 seconds of spoilers if you're really worried about Moonfall starts now. It turns out the moon everyone's theorizing that the moon's a superstructure
Yeah.
built by people from forever ago.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that it is. And they go into the moon and they find that the moon is basically just a shell around this big superstructure.
Okay.
And they have to figure out how to move it. And it's like AI has created it and taken over everything.
Wait,
It's
what?
crazy.
I thought it was just a moon was falling towards the Earth.
It's crazy. No. See, that's what they make you think.
Oh my gosh.
So in that way, I actually thought it was really interesting and really like, it was in a way really well thought out, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
yeah.
But it was just Sharknado bad.
Yeah.
As far as like dialogue and like some of the story beats and stuff. So it was like, I love that movie
Okay.
so much.
That's fine.
I think it's just endearing because it's so bad.
Okay.
Kind of.
You gotta love them.
So I actually recommend watching it if you're in the mood to just feel a little goofy.
Okay.
You know, I
Yeah.
recommend watching that movie. Do you have any honorable mentions? I have several more, but we can go back and forth.
I have only one honorable mention, and
Okay.
it wasn't released this year, but it was one that I watched this year that was
Okay.
really, really good. It's called Uncut Gems.
Oh,
It was Adam Sandler.
I couldn't make it through it, but I'll need to.
I don't want to spoil anything, but the way that it ends is so crazy. It's so good. And the way that the way that the director used the music to make you feel anxious the entire time was really fun. And
That's
you
cool.
do feel like just kind of anxious the whole time. And you're a score guy, so
Yeah.
you should give it another shot
Okay.
and go all the way through. But you'll start to notice that a lot of the music that they put in there is like kind of makes you have a little bit more anxiety and like
Okay.
kind of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they wanted that, and it's really
I
cool.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
but that was my favorite.
Cool.
Ending was super good. And Adam Sandler was fantastic.
He's good.
He's really good.
He's got goofy stuff, but I
yeah.
think he's good.
Yeah.
Like,
No, he's great. He's a great
good
actor. And his songs are really funny.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I actually like a lot of his newer stuff. Like I thought Blended was hilarious. I actually enjoyed
Hubie Halloween is hilarious. Have you seen Hubie Halloween?
Hubie
I love that
Halloween.
movie.
I actually really enjoyed Pixels. I thought that was
I
a
haven't
really
seen
funny
that.
movie.
I should watch that.
A lot of people hated it, and I can understand why, but I thought it was good.
Okay, my last honorable mention, which I wanted to put into one of these categories, but I just couldn't find where to put it, is Black Adam.
Okay.
That was the most fun I had watching a movie
Yeah.
this year. It's very close with Top Gun in the like just excitement category. I went and saw it by myself, which I go see a movie by myself like once every couple of years just because. And I think this was the
'Cause you
perfect
want
one to
to.
watch by myself because it was like I don't have to worry about like, oh, like what are other people thinking? Like
Yeah.
what am I gonna have to talk about after this? Like I went and saw it and I just watched and it was so fun. And I think they finally did a superhero movie, like the foundation of a superhero movie. They did really well.
Okay.
It's just really exciting action.
Yeah.
And what I love about superhero movies is like people flying around and punching people
Yeah,
and doing crazy
yeah.
stuff. And I care less about the really, really deepness about some superhero movies. Some
Yeah.
I appreciate that about it. But Black Adam was just exactly, I think, what it needed to be. And it was so fun. So if you're looking for a fun superhero movie to watch, I 100% recommend it. Black Adam.
It was Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Yes.
Where it's just
Yeah, it was just so awesome.
joy to fight.
Yep.
And you don't care about anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the honorable mentions. We are going to go into our last thing now. Movie of the year. This is the absolute best movie, hands down, no cap, as the kids say. Straight bussin'.
No
the
cap.
best movie of the
Did
year.
you say straight bussin'?
Straight bussin'.
Okay.
I'm trying to be youthful. It doesn't work.
Stop it, I'll slap you.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, Craig. The movie of the year goes to.
The Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shook. I'm shocked. Okay, tell me why.
So I know a good amount of the complaints about the movie, and my favorite movie and like best movie, I could almost like switch back and forth.
Okay.
Because
Which one was your favorite?
I can't even remember now. I gotta look it up.
Oh,
Lost City.
Oh, Lost City. Okay.
So Lost, I don't know. I had a ton of fun watching it. It was a bit long, but it was, to me, with Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, which are pretty untouchable, especially the second one.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people really liked not only Batman, but oh my gosh, what's his persona? I can't even. What's his
Bruce
real
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, yeah. His Bruce Wayne was I think in more in lines of like who Bruce Wayne is supposed to be in the Christopher Nolan ones, right?
In the Christopher Nolan
ones.
Oh, I thought
right?
I thought you were talking about
that's like the comic, right?
Yeah.
He's this showy, flashy guy,
Yeah.
right? But I really enjoyed a different side to him in this movie. I know a lot of people they didn't like it because it was basically him as Batman and Bruce Wayne was like the same person. There wasn't like a really big difference, but this was like him in his first few years, right? I think this was year 3.
Yeah, I think
or year
that
2
sounds
or
right.
something like that. I can't. They specify it, so he's still in this where he's trying to basically just come to terms with everything that he needs to do, all of these crimes and everything that he's trying to fix, but he's actually just making it worse. He just, more than the Christopher Nolan movies, he just felt like a badass. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
Like him when they have the car chase scene with the penguin and the car crashes and Batman just comes out with like the fire and you can see the like fear in Penguin's eyes. He looks so cool, right? And it was just, to me, it felt like a more realistic, not realistic because Christopher Nolan's was really realistic. I guess a more like darker than the Christopher Nolan ones.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
for
dark,
sure. Yeah.
but like not like to this point.
Yeah, this
you
was
know?
definitely. I think this was definitely the darkest Batman movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of lighting in the show.
No, it was visually very dark.
Visually very dark.
Very hard to see.
I will agree where the part, this is really a spoiler, but the part where like he falls and it gets all like slow motion and then he just falls in the water. I have no idea what that was for.
No, yeah,
Nobody
that
knew he wasn't going to die because he's just falling into some water.
Yeah, he was immediately okay. They made it look like a death scene, and then they cut to him being fine.
Gonna be a death
that was
scene,
weird.
So it was a little weird.
Yeah.
But like when he gets into the water and he realizes that vengeance isn't the way to go, and he gets the light and he basically is the leader to get everybody out, was such a cool scene.
Yeah.
You know, because that was where he
cool.
came to terms with like, okay, this fear and vengeance thing is not working.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to try. I also really enjoyed the Riddler. I thought he was great.
I thought he was great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biggest thing I had is I kind of hated the Joker spoiler ending of the thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It was just
Stop
dumb.
doing the Joker.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
fine. You did good with Penguin and Riddler, and oh my gosh,
And Colin Farrell as the Penguin, it was so
you
shocking.
even know it was him.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was awesome.
So good.
So,
yeah.
that was my favorite movie.
Yeah, the Batman was
Best
really
movie,
good. I
yeah.
actually really liked it. It was a little divisive. It was a little bit like you either really liked it or didn't like it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody hated it too. Well, not a lot of people hated it too much. I think a lot of people didn't care for it too much. Yeah, I liked seeing a different side of it. I liked the more detective-y aspect of it.
Yes,
It was a refreshing, I think, Batman movie.
It was a very detective
stepping away
Batman
from
movie.
stepping away from kind of what you would normally think of as Batman.
Yeah.
Was really fun. Yeah, there was some stuff in that movie that I just loved. It visually was amazing. It looked really, really good.
It was really good. The score,
I didn't like the score.
and I didn't.
like
I
the
liked it at some
Nirvana
points
or whatever.
I liked it at some points, but a lot of the times it felt like Star Wars music. Like I literally, it was like the march music.
Yeah.
It was almost sounded exactly like that.
That makes sense.
And I was watching it with a friend, and we were like, did they just basically
Yeah,
steal
that's
Star
interesting.
Wars music?
Yeah. But then I loved, like, almost at the beginning when he walks up on that little gang of people and he's like, I'm vengeance. So cool.
So cool.
It was really, and then he just beats the crap out of him. I love that. Or I guess he beat him up kind of first, but yeah, I think it was really good. I actually really liked Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Oh yeah.
I didn't love his Bruce Wayne too much personally.
Yeah.
I do more prefer like the Christian Bale-esque
Yeah.
type Batman, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't like Andy Serkis as Alfred. I
Yeah.
like an older Alfred. I like
wasn't
Michael
in it
Caine.
much.
Yeah, but I think he was still a good.
Yeah, he was fine.
His character was good.
Yeah.
I didn't like him as the character, but yeah.
You can't beat Michael Caine as
No,
Alfred.
dude.
No.
So good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batman was good.
Okay. That was my best. Drum roll. What is Sam's movie of the year?
My movie of the year goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Nice.
No doubt.
Didn't see it.
It
So
also
it could have been my movie of the year also.
It will be.
Okay.
It also would go under my most underrated category because I think it made $100 million.
Wow.
Like really low.
Wow.
It's by the same company that did Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
With shoes on.
It did Everything Everywhere All at Once did $103 million, which is really, really low. I don't
think it released in a lot of places.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, I think it had budget. I don't know if I can find the budget, but I think it was a pretty low budget movie, which is good for them. That's another movie like Free Guy that tackles 5-6 genres of movies and does all of them perfectly.
And does multiverses way better than Doctor Strange.
So good.
Yeah.
This movie, anyone who's seen it loves it.
Yep.
And if you have not seen this movie, like focus really hard, sit down and watch it, and it'll blow your socks off.
Okay.
It's that good. Like
we're gonna have to watch it.
We will. It's like every 5 seconds you're like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's just that over and over and over and over again.
I heard like the cinematography and everything was just so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The action is so good.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of martial, like karate type like very
Yeah.
Jackie Chan-esque type of like martial arts in it.
Yeah.
That's done so well. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's so funny. The way they travel between universes is so funny.
Yeah.
It just was like it was such a well-made movie by an independent company. And it's just like, everyone needs to learn from what they did.
Yeah.
Like people who make movies need to watch this movie and try to replicate not the movie, but just everything that was done well. You need to like take into account why it was done well and just try to do that. Because if every movie just like felt like this movie, it would be amazing. It's just so good. It's such a fun movie. So yeah, that's my movie of the year.
All right.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Props to them. And I want a sequel.
Hopefully you'll get one.
Dude, hopefully. You never know.
If it didn't do super well, you never know.
Yeah. This was a good year for movies. You
Yeah.
and I were talking about, we were looking back at
2013.
2013, because we're thinking about doing like anniversaries for movies and stuff. So we were looking at what episodes we'll do next year. And we were like, man, look at all these movies that came out in 2013. There were so many good ones, like movies have really gone downhill and stuff. But then as I look back at the movies that came out this year, like we had a pretty good year for movies.
Yeah.
Like I think there were a lot of underrated movies.
Yeah.
Movies that didn't perform super well.
We're still like, the end of 2021 was like the start of, people going back to theaters.
Yeah.
So I think this was like the first full year of
Yeah.
like, everyone's okay to
And
go
it was
and
a
see
build-up
them.
year.
Yeah.
Because there were still some things that came out this year that were in production during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start to really get out of that now. Because
Yeah.
movies typically take about 2 years to make.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start to get out of that.
But I think I think a lot of people put a little bit extra attention into them because they
Yeah.
knew they needed a reason for people to go and watch them, because they were still like, should I go watch a movie or
Yeah.
something like that? Spider-Man No Way Home was really like the start,
For sure. Yeah.
and it was freaking amazing.
Perfect movie.
And then they made a whole bunch of crappy movies after that.
Yeah. Mistakes.
Here's to Ant-Man.
Yeah. Here's to Ant-Man, hoping that's good in a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was actually a good year for movies.
Yeah.
I was thinking that it wasn't, but I look back and there were a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
A lot of things that I enjoyed. So,
Okay.
dude, that wraps up the year.
Yeah. Any last things that you wanted to bring up?
I don't think so. Here's the 2023. Let's do this real quick. What's your most anticipated movie of 2023? Or movie or show?
I don't really know if I have a show that I'm like super anticipating, because Better Call Saul's over now.
Yeah.
Probably Oppenheimer.
Really?
Yeah. I love Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
His
He's so
movies are
good.
great. I also haven't really looked at a ton of stuff that's coming out next year. Either that or Cocaine Bear.
Dude,
Stuff-
Cocaine Bear. Oh my goodness. That
Looks so dumb.
gonna be super nutty.
It's going to be so dumb, but at the same time, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. What about Mario? You excited for Mario?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
Okay.
Here's a list of movies.
Okay.
Here, you can
I
look at
guess-
those real quick and
I
tell me
guess
what
I
are you
would
most excited
say-
for.
I guess I would say that Mario is probably going to be my most anticipated.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That trailer.
Yeah. Spider-Verse is going to be awesome.
fantastic.
It's going to
Yeah.
be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Mission Impossible. I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
though.
There's a lot of good movies coming.
Yeah.
Well, potentially good movies coming out next year.
Shazam. I love the first one.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see how
Dungeons
that
and Dragons.
is.
We'll see. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah. Oh, probably Barbie.
Yeah.
Definitely my most hype for next year.
Yeah, really? Barbie,
not
huh?
even all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Ryan Gosling is Ken. Oh,
It makes sense. Makes sense.
Did you see the trailer for it?
I did. I mean, it's like 2 seconds long, but
Yeah.
yeah, I saw it.
It
And Simu
looks
Liu's
so
in
dumb.
it. Did you see him? The guy who
No.
plays Shang-Chi? He's in it dancing.
No way.
Are you kidding? Yeah, go back and watch it.
Okay.
He's dancing.
Looks so dumb. I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it's gonna be like this huge hit.
Probably.
Just has to be.
That's going to be a $3 billion movie. First $3 billion movie
Wow.
ever.
Well, I thought that was gonna be the Lego movie. The Lego movie was so good.
I love the Lego movie.
Now, what's your most hyped?
I'm really looking forward to Spider-Verse, like a ton.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be awesome. And then looking forward to Ant-Man, but I'm a little like, I'm rocky with Marvel right
yeah,
now.
me too.
They really let me down this year, which is kind of a bummer.
They've-
Black
they've-
Panther was fine, but it still didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah. They've really been struggling to find their ground.
They've been on the
after
struggle bus for sure.
Endgame.
Yeah.
They did well with the 2 Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
But
Hard to mess up Spider-Man, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's hard to make a bad Spider-Man movie because he's so...
Andrew Garfield.
Dude, I love his movies. We'll talk about that later. I think they're so
They're
good.
so
There are some
dumb.
issues, but I think Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man is great. And anyway, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that another
Yeah.
time.
I disagree.
My most anticipated movie is probably Spider-Verse. I'm also very excited for Mission Impossible because I love those.
Yeah, they're so good.
And
Especially where you love Top Gun.
yeah, and John Wick.
Oh, yeah.
I really like John Wick. That's
Yeah.
another movie where it's just like, doesn't matter what the story is. It's dope.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So
Yeah.
and
I
then-
do know they're making a Nobody 2
Oh,
that
really?
might be coming out in 2023.
Okay,
So
okay.
if that is, that's another hyped one.
And then my most anticipated show is going to be the Ahsoka Tano show for Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
You probably don't know anything
Nope.
about that.
Nope.
But I am very excited for that. Star Wars also has let me down a ton this year, but the people who are writing and helming that show really know what's up. And so I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe, I mean, I don't know if these are releasing next year, but either Squid Game Season 2 or Stranger
I
Things
haven't watched
Season
Squid
5.
Game yet.
Oh, it's really good.
I started it, but I was eating and I had to turn it off because I was watching it at lunch and I took a bite of my sandwich and then something happened and I was like, oh, no, I can't do that right now. And then I just didn't get
First
get
1,000
around.
people die and you're
Yeah,
like,
I didn't get around to watching it
I
again.
can't watch
So
this anymore.
yeah, that's what happened.
It was a fun show.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, dude, that wraps up the year and our
Yeah.
first annual Something Awards.
Something awards. Patent pending.
Yeah.
So,
Trademark. Copyright.
if you want to put down what your favorite movies were, please let us know.
Yeah. We'll link our email in the show notes so that you guys can send over either movies that you want us to review or give us your list of movies.
Yeah. And if you have a reason why Moonfall or Black Adam or Fantastic Beasts was your favorite movie of the entire year, and
Yeah.
you want to give us the reasoning why, we'll totally listen.
Yeah. And put it in the reviews if you want
Probably
to.
say you're wrong, but
Probably.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. We'll roast you a little bit.
We can be wrong.
Leave a review and we'd love to go over reviews in our show and
Yeah.
give our thoughts on them real quick.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, thanks to everyone for listening in.
And
it was a fun year.
Yeah, it was a really fun year for movies. And
Here's to 2023.
Here's to 2023 and a lot more movies.
We'll be doing this every Friday.
Every Friday, new episode.
Yep. So a good amount of the time will be brand new releases. Some of the times it's just going to be old classics.
Yep.
There's a big list of movies.
We have a
that
huge list.
Want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, what we'll be doing basically is all the big-ish movies that are coming out, we'll try to watch those as soon as possible and get a review out of those.
Yeah.
And then we're hoping to do some anniversaries this year.
Yep.
So when, we'll be looking at a lot of 2013 movies, some 2003 movies.
Yeah.
Like Holes. Holes is going to be 20 years old.
No
I'll just give
way.
you a quick list,
Oh,
just a
man.
couple things. Elf is going to be 20 years old.
Nice.
Holes is going to be 20 years old. Bruce Almighty is going to be 20 years old.
Such a
And
dumb
then
show.
a few 10-year anniversary movies. 2013 really was a good year. We got like World War Z, Elysium, Captain Phillips,
Captain
About
Phillips.
Time, Walter Mitty, Lone Survivor. So we got some anniversary movies for next year. So yeah, this is every Friday. Come back for really extra apples creating tiny, iconic orange niches. This is
My
end.
ex.
Thanks for listening.
Time is mirrors elevating.
Time is mirrors elevating. You heard it here first, folks. Thanks for listening. Come
Yeah.
back next Friday for the first episode of 2023.
We'll always do spoiler free and then spoiler.
Yeah.
We might even break it up into 2 episodes so it's easier to know which one you want to watch.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Rate and review. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. As always, if you'd like to support this podcast, check out the link in the show notes.